Well, we've just finished one school year and already looking at and planning for the next school year, especially after a year of a pandemic, whereas we've said all along, all the planning that went in, not only at Region 1, but all the school districts around here, the incredible work that was done before the last school year paid off in spades as schools actually operated as well as they possibly could during the pandemic. But now we're getting back to where the schools can really get back and more in stride, and the students can get back more in stride. Now, in the month of June, finally, the middle school athletic activities agreement, everything was put together for Region 1. Now, this is something it's new, but it's something that's been talked about and on the table and almost here for a year and a half. We have the person who's running this for Region 1, Ann Macneil, with us. And like I said, this is going to be a new program, but I think people have heard about it enough over the past year that it might be new, but they're familiar with some of the aspects of it.
Yes, it is. And first, thank you very much, Marshall, for having me on. This is not a totally new idea. We have been discussing it. And in fact, this was actually broached many, many years ago, almost 15, 20 years ago, when there was a committee put together. But we have kind of pushed the idea and broached the idea with all the schools within the last year and a half, and we're really excited to get this going this fall.
All right. Now, for people that are listening about the middle school idea, let's go over the fundamental ideas of this, because, when I went to grammar school, basically we were separated by the time we all got to high school, when I went to grammar school, we had to remake and reacquaint ourselves with people and other students and kids that we knew nothing about. I think that this middle school program is really going to help alleviate a lot of that.
That's one of the fundamental ideas. Having been a parent of a middle school myself, our oldest just graduated high school, and that was very difficult coming into high school and only really knowing the people that she was in K through 8 with. The region has done a great job of the regional dances, the regional band and chorus, the fourth grade arts day, but this program kind of pushes that a little bit closer, where we bring together our 7th and 8th graders from all of the 6 K through 8 schools, trying to bring together unity, trying to establish those relationships and those friendships that when you come into high school you have to already remake. By doing this a little bit sooner, we're hoping to establish that a little bit stronger. What we see in the athletic world as people get into high school, the schools that we participate in and compete against have such solid teams because they are starting to play together at that lower 7th and 8th grade level. So we're hoping to kind of capitalize that, as well as formalize the Region 1 unity with our 7th and 8th grade students.
I think there's so many different, in the beginning when this was talked about, people talked about pitfalls, but I think those have been put aside, because when you sit right down and think about it, the bonuses to the students, the bonuses to the region, the bonuses to the grammar schools and to the high school are just so much on the upside. And I think when you look at it as sports is a way that students can learn to enjoy school, even if they don't like school for academics. It's something that they can put their energy out on. And instead of playing one another in like Sharon against Kent, Sharon against Salisbury, I think what you just mentioned is right, where the students actually are going to play together and function as sports teams together, and that should put them on a road where it actually pays off in the long run at the high school level.
Absolutely. It benefits the student. We're also able to offer more choices by doing this type of program. Most of our schools, as you know, and unfortunately we don't have a lot of students. So most of our schools can only field one sports team. The regional program, we're looking at adding different offerings. So not only for the fall will we be offering soccer, but we'll also be offering cross-country. We're also offering activities. So in the fall, we're offering Art Garage, which is an opportunity to work with local artists who volunteer their time, who volunteer the supplies, and it's kind of like a creative free space. A student can walk in there and say, hey, I want to learn how to, do pottery, or I want to learn how to do something, and they can make it happen. So it allows our 7th and 8th grade students just more opportunity to explore their likes.
And it also, to me, allows the 7th and 8th grade students to get a taste of high school at the 7th and 8th grade level. It's not a full taste, but it is a real nice big bite out of the apple. So they're even more accepting when they go to school.
Absolutely. It's a great introduction. Again, formalizing these friendships. With students that before you would see as competitors, now you're seeing as teammates. So it's a win-win. I mean, certainly there are going to be pitfalls. There's going to be bumps in the road. Transportation is a big concern with parents, which I completely understand. And going into it, I welcome questions. I welcome suggestions. This is all new to all of us, and I ask for people's patience and support as we kind of navigate through the first couple of months of this program.
Well, I was going to say that you'll learn and get all the bugs out in the course of the first few months and the first year of the program. Now, for parents that are listening right now, or grandparents, what changes does this make to them? I mean, are there forms they have to fill out? Are there things like that? Are there separate schedules? And this is, of course, going on during the school year. So how are all those things working out, and what do parents need to know about that?
Great question. All incoming 7th and 8th grade parents should have received an email from me with a link. We do all of our registrations, so it's all the forms need to be filled out through an online platform called Final Forms. And if they did not receive the email, or it for some reason it got deleted, whatever, they can go to their school websites and click on Final Forms. That will lead them to the registration process. In the next week or 2 weeks, I hope to get out kind of an informational page, just kind of like the logistics. When is this going to happen? How is this going to happen? Just basic information. I will be having a parent and student meeting probably the end of August, where parents can come in person and ask questions. I'll kind of, again, give an overview of the program. We will have our coaches available for questions. But that's the time for parents to come in and say, hey, how does this work? All those individual questions that they have. And then we will get started. I have planned it so it's not the first day of school. That's chaotic as normal. So soccer will be starting on the Wednesday after school starts, which is Wednesday, September 1st, and cross-country is beginning Thursday, September 2nd.
All right, we're speaking once again with Ann Macneil, who is the athletic director at Housatonic, but also the one who heads up the middle school athletic program now. And the interesting thing here is, how does the time break down? I mean, one of your practices, has that all been worked out yet?
It has for the most part. Again, I'm still trying to work out the finite details, but practices will run. Students will leave their individual schools and be transported in the fall. We will be centered around Sharon. So the cross-country and soccer teams will be playing at Veterans Field, and Art Garage, which will meet Mondays and Fridays, will be at Sharon Center School. So again, practices will probably start about 4 o'clock. I'm working with Michelle at All-Star on the exact details of what time they will be arriving on the field. And then they will be transported back to their individual schools after practice. We're working on a game schedule, so that's being worked out through some of our local Berkshire League schools, as well as some of our independent middle schools, IMS, Rumsey Hall, for example. So that's still it's almost finalized, but there's still little details that have to be worked out.
And the coaching pool, where were the coaches selected from, and how many coaches do you have lined up for this?
So that's a great question, and that's really where I need our listeners to kind of step up. I do have someone for our boys soccer program. I am still looking for a girls soccer coach. I do have a cross-country coach, and all the teams do have assistant positions available. So if anyone is interested in any of those positions, please reach out to me. My email is Macneil, which is MACNEIL, at HVRHS.org. I'll be happy to help them get their coaching credentials and get them on the staff.
Now, how does this fit in with your schedule, of course, being the athletic director at the high school? Are you kind of excited to see this and then see how those students, when the 8th graders come to the high school and the 7th graders go to 8th grade, to see how this progresses and what it does to the quality of students doing athletics?
Absolutely. One thing with middle school sports is that, it should never be looked upon as a feeder program for your high school program. Though I am excited. I'm excited to expose kids to new sports such as track and field and cross country. And I'm just excited to have them kind of branch out. Again, like I said, having had a student go through already the middle school program and struggle with the first couple of weeks of soccer, trying to gain those friendships and those relationships. I'm really excited to see this grow and to help grow our region into one, Region 1 community.
Once again, Ann Macneil is our guest, talking about the Region 1 Middle School Athletic Program, which is finally going to get underway. When is the first day of school again coming up? It's hard to believe.
The first day of school is August 30th.
It's not that far
I know.
away.
It's right around the corner.
Now, the pandemic is where it is right now. Do you have backup rules, backup things set up once again for just in case there were another spike or anything like that?
We don't have them in place just yet. I'm kind of waiting to hear what the CIAC, our state association, says as we get a little bit closer. I think that's kind of how we all are. Certainly, if we were to have a spike and we were to kind of do a fallback, I would definitely be, talking with our administration about giving something to our middle school students, because they did lose out last year not having any type of extracurricular activities.
But I was going to just say that because of the pandemic, they lost what they normally would have. So I would think that these students in the 7th and 8th grade really would be chomping at the bit to get back to that.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, in knowing what we know now, hindsight is always 20/20. Having gone through it last year, I think if we were to see a spike and if we were to have a fallback position, we would be in a better position to make some decisions.
Well, I think we can take that case off and just plan for the best. And I think that finally, now that this is getting underway, when this idea first came out, it was almost considered pie in the sky. But now I think, especially when you look at the attendance in the schools and how many students we have, this is just an absolute great way to keep sports an integral part of the school community and not deprive any student of the ability to have a little fun out in the sports field.
Absolutely. We have a place for everyone in this program, whether it's artistic, robotics, athletics. We're really looking forward to having all of our student athletes and our students participate. And
once again, your email for people that are listening that want more information?
Yes, my email is Macneil, which is MACNEIL, at HVRHS.org.
And this is the Region 1 Middle School Athletic Program. And good luck with it. Have a great summer, what's left of it, because we're already halfway through it. And good luck with this and also at the high school next year.
Great. Thank you so much, Marshall.